What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Less Alex podcast. Today, I am joined by Bird Bouchard from Red Cape Sports, the YouTube channel, and redcapesports.com. Bird, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Alex. Any day that I get to be on your channel and just talk sports cards, talk sports in general, it's always a good time. So thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Just before we get started, though, I do want to give a huge shout out to Robert Hill. He is a brand new Patreon member of mine. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the support. If you guys are interested at all in supporting my content and getting some perks as well, head on over to patreon.com/lessalex and check that out. By no means is it necessary or anything, but if you guys dig what I'm doing here, check it out. But yeah, we are going to talk some sports and some sports cards. We're going to get into the brand new MLB Players Association. There's a new offer. It seems like every other day.
Uh,
Like I said, it's like a Katy Perry song. They're up, they're down, they're left, they're right. Nobody knows what's going on. How's it going, James? In chat, for those listening after the fact, this was recorded in front of a live YouTube audience, so I will be kind of shouting out people who are chatting with me. If you guys are coming into this, listening to it, and finding me on the podcast apps, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, and all that stuff will be linked in the description below. Why do I do that? What's up? Thanks for hanging out, man. You're always in chat. First catch, how's it going? You did make it. You did. We started a little bit late, but we are ready to rock and roll. Thank you, everybody, again for rocking with me. And if you guys are watching on YouTube and don't know, this is a podcast as well. So check it out on Spotify, all the other podcast apps. It'll be on there soon through Anchor. So yeah, let's get into this. So today, the Players Association, first off, they denied the last offer by the teams, and then they shot their own offer of 70 games, full prorated salaries, and expanded playoffs. Bird, I want to get your what you think about this first, and then I'll give my opinion as well.
all right. Well, this is something that obviously I've been following pretty closely.
Yeah.
Shout out to the baseball world.
Love the Cardinals hat, by the way.
Yeah. And actually, before I even give my opinions, I do want to say I'm actually a Cardinals fan. I know that almost every single episode I've ever been in, I've been wearing a Red Sox hat. But the reason being for that, I'm still coming off a high. I went to Fenway, picked up a Red Sox hat, and it fit well. So that's the reason for the Red Sox hat. So
there you go.
Okay. I've been following this pretty closely, and I think Pat McAfee also said it the best. Rob Manfred is as Bugs Bunny calls it, a buffoon, a maroon, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, man.
It's quite honestly, this is getting ridiculous. I don't understand how you say 100% there's going to be baseball. Oh no, there's not going to be baseball. Yes, there's going to be baseball. Like you said, man. I mean, it's literally we're living in a Katy Perry song. I feel like there will be baseball, and that we're getting closer to it. The players and the prorated salaries, and then it was only like 3 weeks ago when Trevor Bauer literally bashed on everyone, because what a lot of people didn't understand with the whole tiered system was a guy like Mike Trout, who typically makes $30 million a year. Don't get me wrong, 30 million is a lot, but then you're going to bring him down to a prorated salary, and then you're going to tier that to only give him 20%. So now he's only going to be making around 5 million.
Yeah,
that definitely wasn't okay. It seems like these guys want to play ball, right? I mean, we're seeing all over social media, Mike Trout, Cody Bellinger, basically everyone. They just want to play ball.
right.
But at the same time, like, I've always been a fan of the players, in the sense of, they only have such a short window to make the most amount of money possible. And it's like, pay the men. And ultimately, the way I see it is like, okay, are these owners going to make money this year? Likely not. But the reality is, if I'm an entrepreneur and if I'm starting a business, I run the possibility every single year of not profiting money. So for Major League Baseball owners, by the way, you're all billionaires. For you to go maybe one season of not profiting, like, honestly, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just pay them, and we won a season. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it was like 150 some odd years where professional baseball, even before the MLB, that has been
Right.
played. And now we're risking not playing baseball. And it's not good for the game, in my opinion.
So my big thing right now, and I understand why fans favor the teams. I get it. Those are the name. It goes back to that whole saying, the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. I get it. I understand. Right. And whenever Mike Trout retires, the Angels are still going to be a team. I understand where most fans come from. But my thing right now is, and don't get me wrong, I'm frustrated at both sides at this point, because we should be playing baseball by now. And it's getting to the point, I listen to the Baseball Tonight podcast literally every single night. I love that podcast. Buster Olney does a great job. Go listen to it after this. But my thing is, the owners are now using a global pandemic as a bargaining chip. This was never supposed to be about money. This was supposed to be about the safety of the players. Okay, we've figured it out. For the most part, we figured out how to keep the players safe. We're going to do checks. We're going to do tests every single day. If somebody's running a fever, you're not coming into the stadium, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's a media member, whether it's a person on the staff, the training staff of a team. So we figured that part out. Now, though, the players, the owners are using this global pandemic, this terrible thing where people are literally not to mention like actually dying, but they're people out of jobs, out of work, not making any money to say, oh, boo-hoo me. I'm not going to make, my $300 million in revenue this season or whatever it is. And they're saying, well, we're just going to shut it down and we're going to use this going into 2021 as a bargaining chip. Well, hey, guys, look, they didn't want to play last year. So now we got to negotiate the CBA. And that's really what it's – I can't believe it's happening. Like, I really can't believe we're at this point. But on the flip side of the coin, the players, at some point, they got to play. They got to accept, because we're getting to the point where it's getting too late. The CDC and everything, and I know people have mixed feelings on Dr. Fauci, but he talked to, I forget who exactly it was, but it was somebody on ESPN or whatever, and they said that it's getting to the point where if you go back into the colder months, if it goes into late October like it normally does, it could pop up. What's happening in the world, I'm not going to say it because we're on YouTube and they will demonetize me, but it's getting to that point where it's getting too late. Like, we might just not have a season. So just figure it out. At the end of the day, everybody wants to play ball. They have the means. Just what's the difference between $150 million and $300 million between multimillionaires and billionaires? Like, come on.
Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely agree. And it's like, I'm more or less frustrated because to me, baseball should have been the first sport back.
Exactly. They had the huge opportunity.
Exactly, right? And it's like, of all the sports, I personally feel, I mean, maybe not hockey, but at least within America, baseball could use the biggest, let's say, push of growth for the sport. And there was such an opportunity there to be the only sport back,
Absolutely.
I feel like there are so many people, and it pains me to say, but there's so many people who are like, oh, baseball puts me to sleep. But if it was the only thing on TV, they'd give it a chance. And, maybe they tune in and see, Shohei Ohtani throwing to whoever it might be, or Shohei, throwing it and hitting a home run. Mike Trout even, shout out to the Angels there. But it's like they just
a lot of good
took
players.
they just took this amazing opportunity and threw it away. And if anything, baseball is likely going to be the last sport to come back. And
if it comes back at all.
Growth. Yeah, if they come back at all. Again, I feel like absolutely they will come back, but it's just such a wasted opportunity, and all the lies, right? Like, so many baseball fans feel lied to. All these reports, it's a different scenario every day. Oh, we're going to play. Oh, we're not going to play. And it's like, I don't get it. It's just frustrating, right?
What's crazy is Manfred literally less than a week ago said we're 100% coming back, and then he has an interview on ESPN saying, and he took a beating in that interview, like, and on Twitter. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, take Twitter for what it is, but at this point, it is really the players' voice. It's their platform to really speak what they believe is the truth. Now, whether you take their side or not, that's another discussion. But they were absolutely destroying him. I don't think that this would have happened. Personally, I don't think this would have happened if Bud Selig was still the commissioner. I know that a lot of players didn't like Bud Selig, but I think that everyone respected Bud Selig. So
Oh, for sure.
I don't think I think that a very small amount of players respect Rob Manfred. Like, oh,
Like at the end of the day, I feel like more people respect Roger Goodell and Gary Bettman, and that's saying something. Trust me, that is
like 5 years
100%
ago,
saying something.
everybody hated Goodell.
I mean, people still hate Roger Goodell, but
Yeah,
and I mean, it's football's off season, and here we are speaking about how bad these commissioners are, and Roger Goodell is still making the list. Like it's crazy.
yeah. I don't know, man. I think they're gonna definitely, and why do I do this? They're going to lose a lot of. They're already lost a lot of fans. I'm in several groups for baseball and stuff, and a lot of people are just like done. And then there was a.
Yeah.
This is like a small thing. Like, this is like a cherry on top. There's a small thing I saw today. There was an article that they approved. The MLB approved, like, other companies to put their logo on it. That's like, come on, really? We're selling out in the middle of this whole very public, brutal bashing of one another between the players and
Yeah.
the owners, and that's what we're going to talk about now. You're going to sell Home Goods is going to have a patch on a Cardinals jersey or whatever. Like, we're going to have Emo's
I hope not.
Pizza, that's a really regional joke, but Emo's Pizza is fire. If you're from St. Louis or you ever come to St. Louis, you got to try it. Um, but yeah, it's just crazy that that's also like a thing now, apparently.
Yeah.
KMOX.com, I saw that. But yeah, so in terms of what are you doing in terms of sports cards, in terms of baseball cards right now? Because this is having this huge public battle between the owners and the players is really, it's not great. But I don't know. What have you been doing with baseball cards?
Well, to me, I haven't been buying as many.
Yeah,
I'm still always on the lookout because at the end
yeah,
of the day, it's time like these where people dump, right? It's just like the coronavirus, when the coronavirus and everything was announced, that's when I bought the most baseball cards of my life. I
yeah,
love me a good sale. Um, Now, with that being said, specifically, I've been buying lots. Because I feel like if I can identify a player like a young upcoming player, and if I can buy lots, um, it's just a better chance for me to, I guess, get a win, right?
yeah,
If I'm wrong, well, I got them for dirt cheap anyway. Um, and then on the flip side of that, I could buy like a rookie Aaron Judge, but is his price going to go up when the season comes back, or if there's no season? You could buy a card for, again, I'm just spitballing here. Let's say you buy it for $80, whether that's a
sure,
Bowman Chrome first or whatever.
right, right,
That might not be worth $80, but at the end of the day, tidbit, let's say Ahmed Rosario or Austin Meadows, you can buy those two guys for dirt cheap now, and you'll
yeah,
have a far better chance of doubling, tripling your money. So that's just personally what I'm doing. I'm not saying it's the
the way,
right thing
right,
to do. And then also I've been opening up Bowman. Bowman's just a hot product right now. We got Jason Dominguez, we got Bobby Witt Jr., and obviously there's some better names in there,
Robert
but to me,
Paulson from the A's. He's pretty
yeah.
hot in that set. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, again, that's basically what I'm doing. You know, it's tough with no sports, and it's frustrating to me because of all the sports cards I do collect. I primarily collect baseball. I feel
same.
like
Yeah,
the
for sure.
numbers don't lie, right? So to me, there's like proven track records, and I've done fairly well over the years flipping sports, like specifically baseball cards. But I'm just not comfortable yet selling at almost a reduced price when I
Right.
know that I could just wait and then sell it.
Yeah.
You know, like a guy like Jorge Soler. You know, I purchased him cheap and I could easily sell him again for cheap. But to me, I'm just looking to double my money. I'm not looking to make millions of dollars off him. But
Yeah.
again, I just need him to be the home run king or even close to the home run king one more time.
One more
So
time.
if I sell these cards now, it's almost like I'm giving up on myself, and I'm always going to bet on myself. You know,
Yeah.
it's just simple.
Yeah. I definitely think, time for baseball cards is not the time to sell. It's definitely not the time to sell.
Yeah.
Although you could argue that if they cancel the season, the prices are going to just bottom out even further. So
Yeah.
maybe now is the time to sell. But my opinion is that it's not the time to sell. I've been on a pretty hard hold for baseball cards when it comes to
Same, yeah.
like high risk picks. Like 2 months ago, I was talking about Austin Meadows and I was talking about Kettle
Yeah.
Marte. And if you've been paying attention to the channel and if you've been paying attention to just what I've been saying on social media, I've not been talking about those kind of players. I've been talking about guys like Cody Bellinger, guys like Bryce Harper, who I believe
Hmm.
is an excellent player. We can have
Yeah.
that debate, but I've been buying guys that are big name guys, right? I'm not going to take a risk in this kind of
Yeah.
volatile, we'll say volatile market. So yeah, I mean, I think if obviously baseball, I think you were kind of starting to say, or at least what I interpret it as, historically baseball is the one sports card that no matter what, it will bounce back and there will be
Yes.
money in baseball cards.
Yeah,
You've
for sure.
seen over the history of football cards, it's been very volatile, and for a long
Yeah.
time, football cards just weren't worth anything. Obviously, we're living in a different kind of renaissance of sports
Mm.
cards in general, but baseball, I'm either holding or I'm buying like MVP caliber players, Juan Soto, um, Bellinger, uh, those guys, Bryce Harper, those kind of players. But yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
from one negative, that's one negative story. Let's flip over. Basketball is hopefully happening. It looks like no matter what, the
Looks like it's going to happen no matter
not
what.
stopping the NBA. Um, we've got a timeline and everything. Late August is whenever the finals will be starting. July basically is whenever the playoffs would officially start. But what do you think about? I've heard people talk about having an asterisk on this season, like in the official rule, like not rule books, but the official like record books. What's your take on that?
See, to me, the whole asterisk things wouldn't make sense because they've played such a long season. It's not like the season just got shortened. I mean, they played a large majority of the season, and then yeah, they took 3 4 months off, maybe even 5 by the time they start playing. But if you know how competitive LeBron James is, if you know how competitive Giannis is and Luca and everyone in the NBA, this championship is going to be earned. It's not going to be bought. To me, to actually have an asterisk next to anything, yeah, and like, as you pull up currently the standings,
Yeah,
um, a team like Milwaukee, a team like the Raptors, a team like the Lakers, those are teams who fought so hard throughout the entire year, and no matter who's going to win the NBA championship, they're going to have to earn it. Like you're going to have to get through a top tier team. So to put an asterisk on it doesn't really make sense to me. I'm so excited for the potential play-in series. I know Damian Lillard's been very vocal on social media.
absolutely.
Even De'Aaron Fox, right?
I feel like
It,
between what Damian Lillard said and the fact that Zion Williamson is a person is the reason we have such large expanded like playing games.
yeah, yeah,
Because obviously the NBA as a brand wants Zion in the playoffs. Like that's
oh,
just
100.
he's a moneymaker. And we'll see if it actually happens. But obviously Damian Lillard coming out and saying, "Look, guys, I am not going out there and playing, period, if my team is just dead in the water, not going to be able, like stone cold, not going to be able to make the playoffs. So I think it's good, right? And it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens too, because I know that in kind of getting back to baseball, but the playoff system in baseball is one that has the fewest teams in it, and they've been talking about expanding the playoffs anyway. We'll see if maybe this can expand it for the MLB just and be a thing. But for basketball and for hockey, I think this could be something cool that they could try for maybe not even just this year. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting for sure. What's up, card collector? Devoro. Baseball's been hot. Dabble and 3-1 for baseball. Yeah, man, you can find some steals out there for baseball for sure. I definitely agree with that. But in terms of like going in high risk guys, like unproven guys, I'm personally holding off. But yeah, I don't know, man. The NBA playoffs I'm really excited for. Obviously, I have a video coming out today at 7:30 Central Standard that is going to go over the top 5 cards to pick up right now under $25. So that'll be fun. Problem with baseball is they don't like change. Yeah, James McCarty, definitely agree with that. That is definitely an old school. It's sometimes, and I know we're going back to baseball, and I do apologize, but it sometimes feels like the owners of baseball teams don't even like baseball. They just like money.
It's
crazy.
I don't even feel like that's far-fetched, right? I mean, most of them don't even show up to the games. Like, they have these suites and everything that they've spent millions of dollars on, and most of them don't even show up to games. Like, they're literally just on their phone, and they're like, oh, cool, like, we won. But, like, most of them probably don't even know how many outs are in a single inning of baseball, which, by the way, is 6. It's not 3, because there's a top and a bottom.
Yeah.
So, trivia question on that one.
There you go.
But another thing, and you know, I know that we are bouncing back and forth between the sports, but the thing with a 70-game baseball season, right? If you're a pitcher, you're throwing every let's say 5th game, you know, sometimes maybe even more. But now a guy like Garrett Cole, a guy like JV, a guy like whoever, they have such like a bigger impact, right? That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Because in the playoffs, right, like we see how important they are because there's such a limited amount of games. But now the season's just like shrunken too. So, you know, you can't really afford to have a guy with a low ERA but doesn't really win you games. Now, I mean, obviously, you'll still probably take that. That's more of an offensive issue. But
yeah,
like the guys who pick you up like 16 wins over the course of a regular season, like if you can, I feel like if you can get like 10, 12 wins now, man, like you're going to be a stud. You're going to be loved forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. And that's a good point. James McCarty also says baseball needs more owners like Cuban and the Clippers owners. Absolutely passionate about the game. I definitely agree with that. Like, Cuban's just like, in my opinion, like probably the most famous sport, at least not national, but North American sports owner ever. Like, maybe not ever. Like George Steinbrenner's probably got that, but at least
Jones, yeah.
So yeah, no, I definitely agree, James. We look like we could be brothers.
Maybe we are. Who knows? I mean, we're both Cardinals fans, so
right.
You know, I won't rule it out.
What's up, Junk Wax Era Cards? Jerry Jones, yeah, that's fair. Jerry Jones is pretty popular too. But yeah, I don't know, man. Baseball is in a weird spot. I hope they can figure it out. But basketball. So we've talked about basketball and the prospects of them actually starting up and getting fired up and going. Are there any like sleeper picks that you care to share in terms of sports cards or?
100%. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, so 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6. This Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, last year, Kawhi Leonard, you know, with the shot of a lifetime, eliminated them. But year after year, the 76ers are right in there. Obviously, the Boston Celtics are a strong team too. But if I'm being honest, I got the Sixers winning that series. Another one. Yes, maybe it's a homer pick, but I'm a massive Luka Doncic fan.
Yes,
I
you
don't
are.
know who they would get in the first round. It looks like they'd get the Clippers. Are they going to beat the Clippers? Likely not, but
Well,
um,
yeah, and this is
we'll see if they move up too, right?
yeah,
Like if
yeah. This isn't with the expanded playoffs, so we have no idea really
right,
the seeding. Like the Lakers could end up not being first seed, which would be wild. But same with the Bucks in the East. But
mhm.
so yeah, I mean,
Miami
so
too,
you're saying
right? Miami's a team where they don't really have. I mean, you can call Jimmy Butler a superstar if you really, really want to, but at the end of the day, they're more of a depth team, right?
yeah, no, for
They,
sure.
they spread the ball. I think they got like 4 or 5 guys averaging double-digit points, which is exactly what you want come playoff time. So they're another sleeper pick. I've never been a fan of the Pacers. I feel like the Pacers are just a their team. That's what I call them. They're just there. They make playoffs every year, but are they real a contender? No. So you can just like literally you can grab spray paint and just spray paint them out. They're not winning it. Um, it's so sorry if you live in Indiana and you're a big Pacers fan. So like
Well,
sorry Reggie Miller, but
yeah,
they're just not gonna win it. Like they're not. They don't have the right system to win now. Like they're built too much like the 2000s in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I think of the teams in terms of like that could potentially actually win the win the championship. In my opinion, probably obviously the Bucks and Lakers are obviously up there. The Clippers, I think you can make a
Yes.
case for the Raptors and Celtics, and then in the West, the Rockets maybe. If they
The
can
Rockets, really? Okay.
if they can start to gel, if the beard and
And Russ.
Russ can start to gel, I think
Yeah.
it's possible. I think it's possible. I mean, because those are two just superstar. Like the
Yeah.
fact that they haven't yet, the fact that they didn't in OKC, like, I mean,
Yeah.
they ran into LeBron in his literal best year ever. But
Yeah. See,
um,
like to me, I've, I mean, just being a Mavericks fan, I've seen the Mavericks play the Lakers, and Luka gives them a tough competition. The Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken, actually have averaged the most points per game, so it's more of a defensive issue, which I feel like, as we all know, defense doesn't really truly get played in basketball until the playoffs. Like
yeah,
there's just so many easy points throughout the regular season, and I mean, understandably so. It's a long season, and you're running up and down the court. Like playing defense is the last thing you want to do. Go play a pickup game. If anyone's trying that hard on defense, I mean, they're just out of their mind. But
yeah. Rude Alva
the
says
Clippers,
Celtics and Lakers would be a historic game in the finals. I
yes,
definitely agree. That would be awesome, especially because it's such a young. The Celtics are such a young team, and then the Lakers obviously are kind of the grizzled veterans at this point. Obviously, they go out. They've got LeBron and AD out there, but yeah, man. In terms of like cards to pick up right now, I think
mm-hmm.
looking at the supporting players on the big four teams are the guys that you want to be focusing on, the guys that could potentially make a run, like upset some teams. So Pelicans players, um, not named Zion Williamson. Obviously, his prices are pretty crazy.
Brandon Ingram, yep.
Brandon Ingram is definitely a card that's been on my radar. I've bought in a lot of basketball cards over the last week, so I don't even remember if I bought any Ingrams to be honest. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And then in the West, I've actually been looking at or in the East rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
In the East, Jason Tatum. Obviously, everybody knows about Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Swaggy P, Siakam. But
Siakam's card is definitely like that card has
fine.
gone up
Yeah.
over the last week or so. And I mean, obviously I understand why, but like, man, you're just looking at like his NBA hoops card. And I saw one sell for like literally almost $40 last night. And
Yeah.
I was just blown away.
It's been nuts. And then I don't know, man. The Nuggets intrigue me. Like, there's Michael Porter Jr. is a guy
Yeah.
that was on Mizzou, so I heard about him all the time on the radio and on just like local news and stuff, local like sports talk radio and stuff when he was playing for Mizzou because I'm from St. Louis. So,
Yeah.
and he's hype as hell, and he can shoot the long ball like basically nobody else. I mean, I would put him in the likes with Steph. Like, obviously, he's not nearly as hyped up as him, but he's a very good 3-point shooter.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of just to piggyback off that, I feel like the Nuggets they truly do have a strong big three. I mean, you got Jokic, you got
so good.
Even Jamal Murray, right? I mean, that's a guy who I've been picking up, full transparency, really cheap. I feel like anyone who went to Kentucky is just a stud, right? I mean, like you just the amount of stud players who went to Kentucky and were a Wildcat. Like
Anthony Davis was on
everyone. Yeah,
Anthony Davis was a Wildcat. Yeah. So I definitely think going after like the big name guys is kind of not feasible. I mean, you could do it. Obviously, you can spend $800 on a Giannis or whatever. Like, if you got it, go for it. But for anybody that's like on somewhat of a budget or on a realistic budget, going after the Kyle Kuzmas of the world and the Michael Porter Jr.'s and those kind of guys, the ones that could potentially upset, those are the guys I'm focusing on right now. And I get into it a lot more in my video that's coming out in
about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that'll be a premiere too. So anybody that's watching that, make sure that as soon as we shut this down, we'll be right up ready to start that premiere. But yeah, man, basketball, I'm excited. I think the prices could just get ludicrous, honestly. I think that they could be insanely crazy. And what's really funny as I'm looking at these standings, what's hilarious to me is look at Eastern Conference last place and Western Conference last place. It's the two teams that 2 years ago were just battling it out so it's the Cavs and the Warriors. Obviously, the Warriors got decimated with injuries, and the Cavs lost LeBron James. So
yeah. See, but to me, that's not even fair. Like, if you give the Warriors the top 3 pick, and then you got a healthy, Steph Curry, you got a healthy Clay, you got a healthy, I believe Wiggins just went there too. Yeah. Eric Paschall's playing well. Draymond, even if you want, and then you're adding, let's say, a guy like LaMelo Ball, who just complements that roster, the whole run and gun team. That's going to be a scary team. So yeah, the Warriors are absolute garbage this year, but for 2021, like, they're going to be right back where they were.
And they got Andrew Wiggins. Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, Andrew Wiggins, I actually picked up some of his cards at the start of the year, and then when he got traded, I was happy. But I mean, obviously, he's not going to see any type of postseason basketball now. So
what's up, Leo? Thanks, I appreciate it. That's a very good point, though. Obviously, they're going to get a huge pick. Obviously, the lottery is going to decide exactly where everyone is, but who knows, man? I mean, yeah, Paschall, Steph coming back, Clay coming back. God, I hate the Warriors so much. Okay. Want to talk some NHL? We can talk a little NHL.
Yeah, man. I mean, hopefully there's some people who actually watch hockey out there. I mean, I know my Canadian followers, they're always harping on me to talk more NHL. It's tough. I mean, let us know down in the comments below. Like, if you guys want to hear some hockey, like, Alex is extremely knowledgeable in hockey. So,
yeah. So obviously they have the expanded playoffs, very similar. I think the NBA should have done the exact same setup. I think the NHL did it perfectly. They did it absolutely perfectly.
Minus one thing.
What's up?
Minus one thing. The only thing I don't like with it is the round robin, right? Because if you're a team like St. Louis, if you're a team like Tampa or Washington, or specifically the Boston Bruins, who are like start to finish the best team in the NHL, what are you rewarded with? Well, you're not rewarded with a bye like NFL. You're literally rewarded with playing the top teams just for seeding. But you've already played basically, 71 games? Some teams have played 70 games, right? 68, 70, 71 games. And rather than just getting the number one overall seed, you now have to physically battle it out against St. Louis, Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, even those top teams, just for seeding. And I hate to say it, but it always comes back to the Steven Stamkos Olympic thing, right? A lot of guys don't want to see players play in the Olympics because they get hurt. And to me, you're going to see a physical series, right? You put the Bruins up against Tampa. Obviously, they want that number one seeding. I'm telling you, I hate to say it, and I'm knocking on wood right now, but somebody's going to get hurt.
Oh, for sure.
It's just going to happen. That's my one fault with this. The rest, I love it. I love the expanded playoffs. I think it's great. I think so many teams we're just on the bubble, ready to make the playoffs. I mean, there's still about 10 games left, and I mean, even if my Rangers didn't get in it, full transparency, I am a Rangers fan, but even if they didn't, I love seeing bubble teams making a run at things. Those are the hottest teams, right? So it's just going to be good for the sport. But like I said, my one knock on it is I'm not a fan of the round robin. It's just too violent of a sport for that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I definitely understand. Now that you mention it, like my Blues are ranked one. Like,
Yeah, right. And it's like
battle it out.
you should be there. Like, why do you have to battle it out for that?
I guess because there was like 10 games left in the actual season, or 11 for some teams.
Between 8 to 11, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you could make the argument that they didn't actually deserve, like they didn't actually win it, but I mean that's 80% of the season. Like,
to me, like they should have just backdated it to 68 games for everyone, grab the total points, right?
sure.
Which wouldn't have been that hard, and then you just grab your seedings from there. But
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I definitely don't hate that idea. But as it stands, there are going to be some very compelling matchups, though, and some matchups where I think we could see crazy spikes in certain players' cards. Obviously, oh my God, if the Canadians could beat
not a chance.
But if the Canadians could beat the Penguins and we get a Leafs Habs matchup in that first round, holy smokes.
Well, no, right? Because you got to remember, it's reseeding after every round. So it could happen. It definitely could.
Yeah.
But theoretically speaking, it's going to reseed, which again, more reason for these teams to really battle it out throughout the entire round robin because I don't know. I mean, if the Rangers could knock off Carolina, then you got to play the Rangers in the second round. Like there's an 11 seed team. Out of 12. There are so many potential like knockoffs here. So many.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. Who do you think is gonna win it? Who do you think is gonna win the cup? I'm putting you on the spot, but
right now, let me see this.
No, Curtis, I know. I'm just saying, if a crazy miracle situation, and I'm not a Penguins fan. I'm not a Habs fan for sure. I'm just mean like if they were to beat them, like could you imagine? Yeah.
I think Tampa. I really think it's Tampa's year. I really do. But here's the thing. If you look at the last 30 NHL Stanley Cup winners, they all have one thing in common, and that's maybe not a stud goalie, but that's a hot goaltender. I feel like they have the possibility of that, but again, they haven't played hockey in so long. Like, I don't know. I would love to say Shesterkin's been the hottest goalie and that the Rangers are going to win. Is that the reality? No, the Rangers probably might not even get past Carolina, right? I'm hoping that they do. That's probably not going to happen. I just see so many teams like Columbus. I can't see them winning. There's just so many teams I can't see winning, but Tampa just looks good. Like if Tampa can, theoretically speaking, get by the Bruins, I mean, they have the best, at least in my opinion, they have the best defensive core in the league. So that's going to help them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be.
Like you said,
That'd be awesome.
I don't know.
I mean, shoot. Vegas looks good, you know. And could you imagine if they won this early into their franchise? Like,
Can you imagine if they made the Stanley Cup playoffs twice in their first 3 years? Like that would
yeah,
be crazy,
fair.
you know? I mean, like even last week we were talking about Jordan Bennington. Like if he wins back-to-back cups, that's gonna be crazy.
Let's go. Pick his cards up now. Matter of fact, go watch
For
our
sure.
video that we did together a couple of days.
Yeah.
It posted on my channel on Tuesday and your channel on Red Cape Sports on Wednesday. So yesterday, go check that out. Just joined. Yeah, Curtis. No, I hear you. I was just saying, hypothetically, we could have some very historic matchups if
Oh,
things
for sure.
go the correct
Absolutely.
way. But I don't know, man. It's
Like, I mean, theoretically speaking, you could see a lot of original six matchups here too, right?
yeah,
Or even not original six, but like I'm telling you, like
Canadian versus
like
Canadian teams.
you got you got a major battle. Like if we see Calgary versus Edmonton, now you just got the Battle of Alberta for when it truly matters. Plus, you got everything hyped up between Kachuk and and forgetting the goalie's name there, Smith. So, hockey in Canada, this is like we turn on TSN, we don't hear anything about anything other than hockey, 24/7, and it's annoying, man. I want my baseball news, I want my college football news. Nope, we get hockey in the middle of 94 Fahrenheit heat. Like it's ridiculous, man. And it's always Bob McKenzie saying the same thing. So I'm not sure if you have any Canadians out there, but I'm sure they feel my struggle because it's the only thing on TV. We even have like CFL football, and even last year, like prior to COVID, no one wants to talk about hockey, or pardon me, no one wants to talk about like CFL football. Like
Yeah,
the season was just beginning, and no, man, people just want to talk about hockey. Like it's ridiculous around here.
yeah, man. It's just sports content right now. Sports content from like like ESPN, TSN, those guys, Fox Sports, whatever. Those, it's just like they're playing like, I don't know, man, just like weird stuff. Obviously, the whole Last Dance kind of distracted everybody. The 30 for 30 about McGuire and Sosa was a nice distraction, but holy smokes, am I ready for definitely baseball, but just some actual real sports. I've been getting into soccer more recently as well.
Yeah, right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was the EPL that started back up yesterday.
Yep, and
Um,
the Coppa Italia was yesterday. Juventus lost to Naples, unfortunately. They lost in
oh,
PK too. It was 0-0.
I sense a Ronaldo fan.
Yeah. Well, it started as like, yeah, that, and then I watched their documentary.
Mhm.
They have a documentary on Netflix where it's
Yeah.
Juventus First Team is the name of the documentary. It's a great documentary. Go watch it. But that was filmed before he was actually on the team. So I just like, because of this it's a docu series. So because of this docu series, I fell in love with like all their players, and it's a really good one. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I've been picking up a lot. I mean, a lot of soccer cards. I've been focusing in on Optic, and I'm gonna make a
Okay.
video about it. Um, for some of the lower end players, I've been getting their hollows. For some of the bigger players like Messi and Ronaldo, I've just been getting their bases. Ronaldo, um, shoot, I wish I had the card like right in front of me and I'd grab it. But his first card in his Juventus kit is an Optic card, and it's a clean,
Okay.
like, Optic is my favorite Panini product.
Oh, it's
You
gorgeous.
I
Absolutely
know,
gorgeous.
I get it. Everybody loves Prism, and this goes across the board for every sport that they have. Prism is like what everybody wants, right? It's usually the first product. It's shiny, it looks pretty, but in my opinion, it just kind of looks like a Photoshop dude on a like your third grade, like, you know how you were
Yeah.
going to third grade and you had your like shiny tin lunchbox? It's like,
Yep.
here's a picture of Jason Tatum like photoshopped onto that, because there's no like contrast, right? Like some of the old Topps basketball cards, you have that iconic. I think it's It's either LeBron or Kobe. I think it's a Kobe card, but it has a picture of LeBron on the card. He's D'ing him up, and that card has become iconic, obviously, since the passing of Kobe and everything. But you don't get that with Prism. It's just one dude. It's the dude, and I don't know, man. Even Select, you have that little window of actual, the stadium, or like maybe there's a player in the background. That's just my personally optics. I love the way it looks. It looks like classic. I'm like kind of like, I like the old school stuff. That's why I like Topps Heritage so much. I just like that classic look. And I don't get me wrong, I like hollow cards and foil and the cracked ice and all that stuff. And the sapphire, Topps Sapphire is a beautiful product.
Yeah.
But you can see more than just the player. There is perspective, and there's, I don't know, man. I'm kind of going on a rant, but
no, man, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I feel the same way. And I'm glad that you mentioned like something like Topps Heritage. There's just something about, it's Topps Heritage, and there's like a Juan Soto, and he's just chilling in the dugout with a bat, and there's something just beautiful about it, right? Like it paints a story without really having to say a lot. And I feel like a lot of those cards are just overlooked, I guess. Like you said, right? We're all so accustomed to, well, I got to get Prism because it's Prism, or for baseball, well, I got to get Bowman Chrome because it's Bowman Chrome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, get what you like. And I mean, I know my brother Mitch, also on this channel, he really likes this simplistic NBA hoops.
Yeah, no, I think
it's kind of grown on me too, right? Like,
I actually
like.
really like hoops. I know that it's not the most hyped product. It's basically like their lowest, other than like the Panini base product. It's basically Panini's lowest product in terms of basketball stuff. But I really like hoops, man. It's, again, it goes back to that classic feel. That Zion image of him like just dribbling, and I know it's just a rookie photo shoot where they took that picture, but that is, to me, an iconic picture. The one of him like dunking and stuff, like stapled on the Prism background with the silver. I don't know, man. It just kind of looks corny and photoshopped. And Eric Perry here, what's up, Eric? Thanks for hanging out. Says, I personally prefer full photos rather than photoshopped. I definitely agree. That's oh man, I'm glad I'm getting this off my chest, because if you guys watch the video that's coming out in about 30 minutes, there are some hoops cards on there. So I was kind of not nervous, but anxious to see how people were going to respond to me having hoops cards on there. But I don't know, man. I like hoops. And you can get some steals. Like, as you guys will see in that video, you guys are going to get some steals if you can buy them right now. Do you guys think about Boquist Brothers? Which one is better? I'm having trouble reading this. Sought after cards pulled Adam Young, Jesper Blue Parallel. Man, I think with hockey right now, I would hold just in general until the playoffs start, because we're so dang close, dude.
Yeah,
we're for sure. So dang close. I would not be selling. I got a Jack Hughes Materials card from one of the breaks that I did recently, and it is a beauty. I have it up on my eBay store, but I have it for like what you and I were talking about this right before we went live, is like dumb money. Like, if somebody bought it, sure, but like that's kind of what I do too. Is, I don't know about you, Bird, but like, I will buy a card, and if I think it's like a more short-term investment, I'll put it at the price I want to sell it for and just like post it. And like, obviously it might sit there and people be like, well, that's really expensive, but like, eventually, hopefully, if everything works out the way I intend it to, it will be at a market value price. And you can get people that'll buy the cards too. What are your thoughts on like listing stuff maybe a little bit above market value? And
at the end of the day, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's like anything. People want a deal. So it's just like houses and in real estate, right? If you want to sell a house for $250,000, well, you're not going to list it for $250,000, because more times than not, like you're
There's
just
a
not going to
negotiation. Yeah.
exactly right. Like people want that, so you might list it for 260 or even higher. And of course it depends on the market, it depends on the house location and everything, but you know, it's just the basic negotiation of people around there, right? Oh, I'll give you $10. How about eight? Okay, well, how about nine? And it's like, well, if you wanted like $20, like you're not gonna get that. Or
Right.
it, it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I have a lot of cards, and I think one of the best tips that I ever gained was when I buy a card, I write the price that I got it for, and then also the price that I'm willing to sell it for on the back. That way, I can't be like, oh, well, I have all these Zion cards. Do I sell them now and, 10x my money, or do I hope to 20x my money?
Yeah.
But, and that's why it's so important, because a guy like Zion, like, we don't know, he is quote unquote injury prone. So
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, to me, I would rather sell it, and if his price do go up, it shouldn't even matter, because then you've kind of put some of that money in your pocket, and then you've also reinvested it into the next superstar.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
also fun to me, reinvesting in the next superstar. And at the end of the day, like, you know, right now, yeah, I'd love to hold on to as many Zion cards as my brother. I mean, he's kind of been like publicly about how many Zions he has, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I wouldn't want to hold on like 80 of one player. Maybe like 5 to 10, and then 5 to 10
Yeah.
of another
Other
guy,
than
five
like
to ten of another guy.
other than like
Spread it
the
out.
legends, right? Like Kobe, uh,
Yeah,
you know, Jordan, LeBron, I would be very comfortable having a fat stack of 80 LeBron rookies right now. Um,
yeah,
but
of course, right? But I mean, he's a sure bet Hall of
right.
Famer, best player in the game right now. Pardon me, and I was just referring to like a guy with still a lot of question marks, rookie.
Yeah. No, I got you. I just wanted to make sure that the listeners and the viewers know
Yeah,
exactly we're all on the same page. Yeah, that's one thing too. Is like people ask me, I get questions. I get DMs. It's been crazy too because my DMs have been, as that song says, DMs be popping. Um, I don't know. I'm sure you probably more so. I mean, definitely more so than me. But like on Instagram, my
yeah,
DMs, like people ask me like questions that I don't even know, man. Like, um, but one thing I get a lot
yeah,
is like, what do you like? What percentages do you invest in? Like high, low,
yeah.
mid, like middle ground, like in terms of the risk level. And I personally, if you guys have been rocking with the channel for a while, and especially if you're brand new to the channel or the podcast, I like to put my like probably 70% of what I'm investing in surefire this unless
Mm,
unless a player gets knocked for steroids or something, this price will literally never drop, or there's some crazy scandal outside that
yeah.
God forbid happened with the player or the person. It's for sure going to be a for sure bet, right? I don't know about you. And then like the other, 30% you can go into high and mid tier risk. What
Yeah.
about you though?
Personally, I'm I'm what I like to call like I don't know. I guess I'll just jump into my strategy.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
a
You
guy
can tell your
like
secrets.
a guy no, and that's the thing, right? Like, to me, there are no secrets. Like, I like the full transparency. I want people to grow with me. So a guy like Ronald Acuna, who's still young, in his third, fourth season, that's what I'd like to go for. I'd go for the Blue Jays, another sport, Patrick Mahomes type of things.
Yeah,
Guys who we know are superstars right now, but they're
right.
not the LeBron James veteran superstars. If you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Mahomes has
LeBron James
yeah, has
is
a
Hall of
ring.
Fame, has been in the NBA for 10 plus years. I like to go for the guys 3 or 4 years while you can still get them somewhat cheap, and there's still a bit of room for growth.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
and then, like, if you compare that to and then I guess for hockey it would be like a guy like Austin Matthews. But
Yeah.
What I'm getting at here is LeBron James, great investment, too expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the hot rookie, Zion, too expensive. Okay, so where can I grab value at a decent price? Well, you can get value at a decent price for those second, third year guys, a Donovan Mitchell type of guy, a Ronald Acuna type of guy.
Yeah.
And that's just personally what I like to do. I would
Yeah.
say I put like 70, maybe 75% of my money into that. And then yeah, exactly. Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna. Thank you for that, Justin.
Yeah.
Um, so those type of players, and I mean, obviously, guys like you and Justin hopefully understand that. And then I guess when I do feel a bit riskier, it's still educated guess and a ton of research. But I'm telling you all, Austin
That,
Matthews. I mean, part of Austin Meadows. Pardon me.
yeah.
Austin Meadows is, man, he had a stud rookie season. I've been following him for a long time. And he's cheap, right? So like those type of
Sure.
players I also like to get in. And I mean, me personally, that's what I tend to make videos on, just because I get most questions about who can I buy for like $10, right? Um, on the low end side of flipping. So that's honestly my strategy, right? 80% that 10 or I don't know. So it's probably not even 80% to second and third year players, because I do like to get the Albert Pujols type of players, sought after, surefire Hall of Famers, great guys. And as you guys can see here, Austin Meadows, if you haven't already picked up his cards,
He
I'm
has
not saying
25.
you need to, but he's young, he's a stud, he's on a young up and coming Tampa Bay team. And check out the price of his cards. Like,
Yeah, no,
especially
they're
if you
dirt.
buy it in bulk or in lots, you can buy, I'm not even gonna lie with you all. I think I picked up 30 of his rookie cards, and I think I got them total for like $17 Canadian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. It's crazy. I definitely agree. Austin Meadows is a guy I've been on since, I don't know. I've been picking up his I think it's an update rookie. Either way though, Austin Meadows is great. I got one of his pink refractor PSA 10s for like $25. So
beauty.
yeah, it's such a. I love, for some reason, pink cards, like pink refractors of almost any player, are just beautiful. It's just because I think it's just because in my mind it's a color that you don't really associate with sports, so it's just kind of like really cool to see pink on a card. Kravowski though has a very good question.
Yes.
I didn't ignore you. I put it on screen so I'd remember to talk about it. So I hope you're still here, Kravowski. What's an example of a mid-tier, high-tier risk? So low tier, obviously the legends, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, I think is in this range.
Yeah. I would put him there for sure.
Sidney Crosby, Tom Brady, LeBron James. So of the four sports, those are like the locked in. There's 0% chance, again, outside of some kind of scandal, you're not losing. You're never going to lose money. And even still, I think on some of those guys, you still would be able to make money. But so mid tier are guys like Luca, are guys like Acuna, Soto, even Bellinger. I'm thinking of a lot of baseball players because that's my go-to.
Yeah, I mean, NBA even, a guy like Giannis, I would still
Yeah,
say has to prove himself a bit.
gotta win a chip. He's got to win a chip.
Kevin Durant, even I would put him there.
I don't know. I think KD.
Kevin Durant, okay, Kevin Durant, maybe you could put him into
I'm not.
high tier. So
Don't get me wrong. I am not a Kevin Durant fan, but I think he is a very, very good basketball player.
maybe that's why I said it too, right? Truth behold, I mean,
Yeah.
but
There's
yeah, and then low tier, like right now, like honestly, personally, I would even put Kobe White in low tier. I know so many people, and I feel like we really need to speak about Kobe White, because so many people are like, buy Kobe White, buy Kobe White, buy Kobe White. And it's like, maybe you could even bring up his stats, but to me, I personally can't put him in the mid tier yet. I feel like there's still so many question marks around Kobe White, and maybe I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 13, 3, and 3 basically. Like that's nothing crazy.
It's nothing spectacular, right? And that's just me. And I just I would argue he's closer to mid tier than he is to bottom tier, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, Pete Alonso, Justin, I agree with that. Pete Alonso is definitely, I would say, we saw that first season and it was amazing. But how many players have had excellent first seasons? I think obviously Austin Meadows is definitely in that category as well.
yeah,
Or Austin, what did I say? Meadows? Yeah, Matthews
yeah.
and Meadows, man. I get them.
I know. I made the same mistake.
Austin Matthews and Austin Meadows, I think, are both in that category.
For mid
Obviously,
tier, yeah.
when and if Austin Matthews, see, I paused because I had to get it right, wins a championship, he'll be a legend. It doesn't even matter if he won a championship and then literally never played again. I think his cards would skyrocket just
Oh,
because
for sure.
he's a Leaf.
He's so loved, man. He
um,
is so loved in Toronto. It's crazy.
but so Justin thinks Luka is pretty risky based on his price. I think that's fair. Like,
Based on his price.
I think that's fair.
Okay, now, Justin, are we specifically talking about his prism or his hoops or all of them? Because personally, I feel like you are correct,
Yeah.
right? But again, he hasn't won a playoff game. He hasn't won an MVP. He hasn't won a championship. So to me, there's still a lot of growth. Like to me, Luka will eventually be a top 3 player in the NBA. So that's why I'm personally putting him in the mid tier, and I guess less risky. I mean, his game is only going to improve, but you're absolutely right. Like his card prices are definitely high
Like, I
for
can't
sure.
believe it. Like, I
I
remember
can't believe it either.
I remember buying some of his optics and now looking at the price, it's just like I'm in the boat on Luca. I'm in the boat of, yeah, I could like double my money right now, or almost double my money, but do I want to get rid of him before he hits a crazy shot or wins a
Yeah,
series
exactly.
or,
Yep.
God forbid, takes down the Lakers? Like, um,
It's gonna happen.
yeah, it could definitely happen, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just I believe in the Mavericks long term, so um, yeah, man. So that's kind of some, and then like high risk is going to be guys like Kettle Marte. Um, shoot, can you think of any others? That's the first one. Kobe White, I think, yeah, is a great one.
Yeah, Casey Mize, right? First
Yeah,
overall, and I mean, again, he's a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, first overall draft pick. Um, First off, he's a pitcher. Second of all, Tigers, please. And so I would consider him very high risk.
that's a really good question, Curtis. I like that. Are there any? Oh wait, let me reread it. Yes, I would never spend that much on a Luca. Are his second year cards worth anything? Like hoops.
Yeah,
So personally, this is just my philosophy on second. I know everyone in the hobby is going crazy for like second year cards and like they're skyrocketing and stuff. But if you're not a GOAT, and I mean an established, this is just my personal philosophy. If you're not an established legend of whatever sport you're in, I am not going after your second year. If your name is not Kobe, if your name is not LeBron, if your name is not Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or like any of those guys in basketball, I'm not going after your card. I don't care. Luka's great, but show me a championship, show me a ring, and then I'll start going after your second cards. And I know that that's a hot thing, but I truly do believe we are approaching the apex of the sports card hype. I think that the pandemic, we'll say, definitely brought it on a lot quicker than it was projected to, right?
right.
And I'm not saying there's going to be a bottom out or a fallout or prices are going to absolutely crash off the ends of the world, but I think there will be a cool off once life starts to come back. Or if in the fall this happens again and, God forbid it resurges, we're going to be, I don't think people will react the exact same way with their money.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, like there's a strong possibility of a second wave, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, personally, I'm not sure how things are right now over in the States, but I feel like at least here in Canada, the moment that you just kind of allow everyone loose and they all
Yeah.
go out, that's just more reason for COVID-19 cases to come out.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll see what it is. And I mean, it's just like me personally, I'm also keeping a close eye on it because in a weird way, yeah, it really does affect sports card prices. And it's like we saw such a surge back in, what was it, like April?
yep.
But so many people were off work. And at least here in Canada, we had what's called CERB. So, basically, if you were off work, the government was still able to kind of compensate you up to $2,000 a month. And like, that's a lot of money. And, most people should have been spending it on bills and rent and things like that. But dang well that wasn't happening. Like, they were
Yeah.
just reinvesting it into the sports card market,
Well, yeah.
which, like, if you can afford to do that, go ahead and do it. I didn't. I had bills to pay, but
Right. Yeah, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen, obviously, but I don't think, or let me say it differently. I am unsure if people are going to react the same way the second time around. Obviously, people will be, if it does happen, people will be back in their houses, right in front of their computers, pretty much, out of work and everything. But we'll see. Who knows? A lot of stuff obviously is going on in the world right now that has nothing to do with sports, and sports cards are a great distraction. But I don't know, man. I'm scared to invest in risky picks right now, just because of how unsettling the rest of the world outside of the sports world is.
yeah.
But have a lot of second year cards. Rookie should be selling now, or when the playoffs start. I mean, if you have them, Curtis, I honestly think you should hold on to them till the playoffs start. Assuming everything goes off in baseball or in basketball without a hitch. And then in baseball, if you're talking about, are you talking about Baker Mayfield? Oh, Mayfield Jackson. I don't even know who that is. I'll be honest. Is that a baseball player? But baseball cards are interesting. I don't.
I think he was saying like Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Ronald
Oh,
Acuna,
sure.
and Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I would hold on to all those second year cards. If you have them,
Oh, for sure.
then fine, yeah. But I would wait till those seasons start up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and again, right, those players more or less speak more towards my philosophy. I feel like all those players are established, right? They're still young, especially Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, you can make an argument. You could make an argument he's easily like a top 3 player in the MLB. Absolutely.
At least in the NL. But the problem with Bellinger right now is as the roster is constructed currently with Mookie Betts on that team, he is not the best player on that team because Mookie Betts is, in my opinion, the second best player behind the GOAT, Mike Trout. But yeah, Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield. Obviously, if you've been rocking with the channel, I am a Browns fan, and I love Baker Mayfield. I am very high on him. He's QB1. You're what? What are you over there shaking your head?
I'm a Buckeyes fan, man. I'm still mad for him planting a flag in turf.
You can't deny it.
After we went into Norman, Oklahoma, and the Buckeyes spanked him, but no one wants to speak about that. No one wants to speak about, Joey Bosa, waving his flag afterwards.
Man,
I'm still salty with Baker Mayfield, man. That's
not what you do; it's how you look doing it. Come on. No, I mean, again, second year cards, I'm not interested in them. But if you have them, I would definitely hold them till the season start. I've been buying way too much Vladdy Jr. lately. I think I think his prices are like pretty subdued right now. Like, I know he had not the greatest year, and then Bo Bichette came up and kind of stole his thunder there towards the end of the season. I think both. I mean, if they could get some good, solid pitching, they do have a prospect who's Pearson, I can never remember his name, but I know that he's close, right? He's close to being ready. I think his projection was like 2021 or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I don't know.
Baseball got so many prospects and so many young players to keep it's hard to keep a handle on everybody. But I think though with Vladdy Jr., he's a good pickup right now. Like if you can get his PSA 10 no number tops for like right around 150, I think that's fine. Just because, dude, I watched the home run derby.
Oh.
He was mashing ham sandwiches. He hit the most home runs ever in that thing, and he didn't win, which is crazy. But he was gassed.
Josh Hamilton didn't win either, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just goes to show you there's something wrong with the format. But no, I mean, Vladimir Guerrero, I mean, you got his dad, he's a Hall of Famer. The Blue Jays are only going to get better. They're arguably playing in the most dominant division in all of baseball too, in the AL East. So we'll see what's going on there. Did I lose you, Alex? I think I lost you. Let's see.
I actually like the format.
Oh, there we
are. Yeah, that was due to Charter being the worst ever. I don't know what's going on with this new setup, though. That's all right.
There we go. Yeah.
It looks weird. I think that is a sign that we're pretty close to wrapping it up. Vladdy Guerrero, though, as I was saying, is a great. Yeah, we have less Alex. Oh God, God, that's such. Never heard that joke before, Eric. Come on, I thought you were better than that. No, I think Vladdy Guerrero is great. I'm huge on Bo. I've been very transparent about how many Bo Bichettes I have. I think more of him, his base rookie than any card I think I own. I like him a lot. I know everybody was saying, oh, he did it on, no, you're good, man. I'm just teasing. I appreciate it. I know people say he did it in a short amount of time or whatever, and it wasn't real numbers, but I believe in him. He's one of those kind of players. To me, I like the swaggy guys that have a personality off the field or off the ice or whatever, off the court, and are marketable. That's a big thing, especially for baseball. A lot of the guys just don't want to be like, whenever your biggest player, Mike Trout, doesn't want to have a camera in his face. Like, imagine LeBron James just not being socially present at all. Heritage Bichette. Yeah, so do you have the split one? I pulled a couple of those split ones. I forget who he was with. It might have been the pitcher we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys have Bo Bichettes, I guess I could use this platform to hit me up because I'm still looking for them. The Mojo ones, like the 1985 Mojo ones, those ones are sick. Can't speak a lick of English. Yeah, that's a big thing too, is, obviously the NFL and NBA have mostly American players. So are there any final thoughts, any parting takes you want to impart to the listeners and viewers?
All right. NHL, Artemi Panarin, those type of players can pick up. Donovan Mitchell, I feel like he's gonna win at least a game, maybe a series. I feel like he's a good buy right now. And again, I don't own a single Donovan Mitchell, and I'm still saying that. Who else? Raptors are doing well. And yeah, I mean, baseball, like it. like I said, I like a good sale. If you guys can find cards for cheap, definitely pick up. But I would not advise you to just dump your cards, whether there's a season or not. You know,
Yeah.
maybe buy, but I wouldn't sell baseball cards. Not right now at
Yeah.
this
Hold,
moment.
hold.
I might sell one or two just to like pay some bills, but that's it.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, I do have a premiere happening in 9 minutes. So it's the top 5 basketball cards you need to buy right now. So if you're watching this live, stay on the channel. That'll be starting here in 9 minutes. So if you're watching live, yeah, I'm going to be in chat interacting. So actually, this is kind of good timing. But yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. We will, I'll be doing this periodically. I don't want to have like a every single week thing because that's just, I'm already doing videos every single day. So I kind of want to have some time to myself. But yeah, if you guys enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram where I post a lot of pictures, just kind of showing off beforehand. You get a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Hit me up on TikTok where I definitely do not dance, but I show off cards and stuff. And on Twitter where I interact all the time. I'm chopping it up with people, talking sports, sharing my opinions and stuff. So yeah, and then if you guys really enjoy it, hit up my Patreon. That'll be in the link right below in the show notes and everything, so you guys can check that out. And there's some perks, and it's just a really good way to help support the channel and everything, help support the podcast. But yeah, everybody, I appreciate you all. I love you all. This has been crazy. We got like 22 people here, so be sure to watch that premiere here in 8 minutes. But yeah, Bird, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast. We definitely have to get you on the show again.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. It's always fun talking sports and sports card accessories. But yeah, everybody, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you at the premiere. Adios, guys. Oh, keep cracking packs, keep collecting. See ya.